Hello, thank you for joining our webinar today on STEM, exploring majors in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Really quick, before we get started with the main content of this presentation, just wanted to take a little bit of time to tell you a bit more about AcceptU and what we do as a company. So we are a completely virtual company, so we do all of our meetings one-on-one with our students and with their families electronically, so over the phone or via a web chat or over email. So our counselors are all over the United States, our students are coming from all over the world, and we're really able to match students with the counselor that's going to be the best fit for them based on their academic interests and goals. We start with students usually as early as about ninth grade and help them with profile building, helping them choose their courses for next year, choosing extracurricular activities to be involved in, all the way through basically the end of senior year, through the application process and through decision support once our seniors have the universities that they've been admitted to. All of our counselors are former admissions officers, which means that we've been on the other side of the desk, we've sat in committee, we've read and reviewed applications, and combined we have 250 total years of experience. So you may see some other college counseling companies where the counselors may have attended a university, but they haven't actually worked in the admissions office. And we really think that having that experience, having been in an admissions office, having actually read an application, is so invaluable in terms of informing students and families about what goes on in the admissions process. And we believe because of our background is why we have such successful results. So you can see more than 90% of AcceptU clients are admitted to one of their top 3 choices. And I'll actually show you at the very end of this presentation some statistics in terms of the general acceptance rate for a university, and then compare that to the acceptance rate for students who choose to work with AcceptU. And you'll see it's some of the top universities, and specifically relevant to today's presentation, some of the top STEM universities as well. Just a little bit of my background. I got my bachelor's degree from Vanderbilt University and then received a certificate in college advising from Columbia University. My admissions experience spans both the public and the private side. So I worked with the State University of New York system as well as Rice University. While I was an assistant director of admissions at Rice, I also served as coordinator for the Rice Baylor Medical Scholars Program, which is an 8-year combined bachelor's and MD program. So I read general applications for the university, and as you can imagine, a lot of them were focused on STEM. Rice is very well known for their STEM program. So that's mainly the experience that I'm sharing with you today and bringing forward as we talk about STEM and what it means and what an applicant should look like when they are applying to a university as a STEM major. Just to give you a little bit of more information about our other counselors, they're coming from about 40 different selective colleges and universities. Again, all of us have been on the other side of the desk. Together, we've evaluated truly tens of thousands of applications. And so far, AcceptU has delivered about 45,000 hours, even more than that, of college counseling. So again, really in a unique position to share with students and families kind of that insider knowledge of what goes on in an admissions office. So moving into our presentation for today, we are first going to start with what is STEM, right? You obviously probably already know from the title of this presentation, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We're going to dive a little bit further into each of those categories and talk about what are the majors or what are the academic areas that are housed within each one of those categories. Because I think a lot of high school students, when they think about STEM, they know the obvious subjects, right? Biology, chemistry, physics, but they might not know all of the options. They might not know all of the engineering fields that are available to them. So just want to take a deeper dive into what is offered as part of a STEM program. Then we're going to talk about applying to STEM programs, right? And where in a university is your application going to go when you submit it to the admissions office. And I'll talk a little bit about what that means in terms of the way that your application is reviewed, what types of students they might be looking for, and also the selectivity of choosing one area to apply to versus another. I will briefly touch on pre-med. Pre-med in and of itself is not a major, but obviously a lot of students who are hoping to go to medical school do choose a STEM major as their primary academic focus in their undergraduate years. So I'll go through what the requirements are once you get to a university in order to apply to medical school so that you can see how it might relate best to certain STEM majors, and also so that you can see what are some ways you might be able to prepare yourself in high school for being able to meet those requirements once you get to university. Then we'll talk about some academic and extracurricular considerations. So we're going to review the courses that you'll need to be taking in high school, as well as some of the standardized testing requirements for STEM programs. And then we'll look at extracurricular activities that you can be getting involved in that may help to enhance your profile and enhance your application. And then just go through some final advice and words of wisdom. So starting off with what is STEM, again, stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So starting with the S of STEM, which is science. By definition, science is the systematic study of the structure of behavior of the physical and natural world using both observation and experiment. So science is really a hands-on field, right? Students are using truly all of their senses. They're going out into the field, they're observing the world around them, and they're really getting kind of this hands-on experience through science. And we divide science up into two types. There's the physical sciences and the natural sciences. And the physical sciences are going to be subjects such as chemistry and physics. Physics, you'll see we also have listed with astronomy. At a lot of universities, you'll see that those are actually one major, right? So if a student is looking to do astronomy, their actual degree may be in physics, but then they sort of specialize within the area of astronomy. At other universities, astronomy is its own major and its own program. So just kind of depends on the university whether you're going to see those together or whether you're going to see them separated. Same thing goes for environmental sciences and earth sciences. Sometimes you see that as one program, sometimes you see them as two separate programs. And then the last physical science is geology. For the natural sciences, we have biology, both molecular and cellular biology. Again, at a lot of universities, you're just going to see biology listed as the academic program, but others you may see them separated out. So you may see molecular biology and cellular biology as a separate academic offering. Natural sciences also include subjects such as physiology and ecology. These are not extensive lists, right, or exhaustive lists for these, so there may be some other subjects that count as sciences, but these are certainly the subjects that you are going to see offered most frequently at various colleges and universities. Next, we move into technology and engineering, so the middle of our STEM acronym here. And technology and engineering are an applied science, right? So oftentimes you're using these fields in industries, right? So technology and engineering is building the machinery, the equipment, and it's developed from the applied sciences, right? So you're studying kind of the basic physical sciences, maybe even some natural sciences, and then you're taking that one step further to putting together that knowledge to build things, to make things, right? To build these machines, build this equipment for use ultimately in various industries. Now, technology and engineering are essentially the same. I don't think you're going to see very many universities where they're going to separate these two fields out. But if you are wondering, the difference tends to be that engineering typically focuses on the theory, while technology focuses on application. But again, I think you're going to see that most of the engineering majors have an aspect of technology in them, right? They're not necessarily two separate things. So this list, I think, is the most important for students to see is what are all of the different fields within technology and engineering. Because again, I think that when you think of STEM or you think of sciences, you maybe know a couple of these subjects, but you probably didn't know all of them. You didn't know all of the options that were available. And I find that a lot with the students that I work with when I'm talking to them. They'll say that they're interested in engineering, but they don't know what type, or they didn't even know that there were types of engineering that were offered out there. So this is a really good start to be able to see what are the different fields of engineering that exist in the world, and which ones may be of interest to you. We're going to talk a lot later on about being able to explore these areas of interest, right? Whether it be through academics or it be through extracurricular activities. But knowing a specific area of engineering that you might be interested in will help you to be able to do some more directed studying and learning later on, that would be most useful for potentially entering this field later down the line. So you can see lots of options. Again, all of these are not necessarily going to be offered at every single university. Some may just have a few. Some may offer all of them. Certainly there's ones that are much more specialized, things like aerospace engineering, material science. You're not going to find those majors at a large number of universities. So if you do find that you're looking to do a field of engineering that is a little bit more specific and more specialized, it may narrow the pool of schools that you're going to be looking at, because again, not every university is going to offer those programs, or they're not going to offer those programs as their own standalone majors. Oftentimes aerospace engineering is housed within like mechanical engineering, so it's not often that you're going to see it as its own major, but there certainly are schools out there that do offer that as well. And then finally, we have mathematics. And mathematics can emphasize theory of application. Oftentimes, it's combined with other majors, and it's really easy for students to do that, to have math as a double major or to have math as a minor with another program, potentially one of those physical or natural sciences, or even a social science, right? A lot of students that are looking to go into business, or you can see here economics, statistics, that certainly has a math component to it as well. So a lot of universities will offer math as a standalone major, but then they'll also have it as a component within some other academic programs. So you can see here just a few: statistics, right? Computer science definitely has a math component to it. Physics tends to be very calculus based at times. So again, math really complements so many of the other STEM majors that are out there, that you can't major in STEM without math, right? But you may not choose to major in math by itself. And you'll see when I talk about the academic requirements for going into a STEM major, math is a huge component of that, and attaining a certain level of mathematics knowledge through high school is vitally important for being able to enter a STEM field, and for a university to feel like you are prepared to enter a STEM curriculum. And as we talk about applying to universities, as I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, there's a few different schools of study that you can apply to. So let me first explain what this means overall, and then I'll kind of dive a little bit deeper into these categories. So when you think of a university, right? So this is not just a college, this is a university. So some of the ones on these lists: Boston University, University of Michigan, Duke University, right? The university is kind of, if you want to think of it like an umbrella, right? So that is going to be all of the students in all of the different academic programs. But then within that university, or under that umbrella, you're going to have what we call colleges or schools of study. And these are smaller groupings where majors are housed, right? So certain academic programs are going to be housed within a certain college or within a certain school of study. And what you're going to find with the STEM majors is that they can really be all over at universities. They can be housed within a lot of different colleges or a lot of different schools of study across campus. You may even see some that are offered twice in two different colleges or two different schools of study. So it's important, as you're thinking about your application and thinking about a major that you're applying to, that you're also aware of the college or the school of study in which that major is housed. And the two that I really want to focus on for this presentation today are College of Arts and Sciences, or sometimes you'll see this referred to as a College of Letters and Sciences, as well as a College of Engineering, because these are most often the ones where you're going to find those STEM programs. And they're the ones oftentimes that students are kind of debating between when they're deciding where they want to apply to a university. So I want to explain them, and I want to talk about what the implications are of choosing one of those schools of study versus another. So starting with the College of Arts and Sciences, as the name would suggest, this is where you're really going to find a very large number of majors, because it's anything that's within the arts or within the sciences. So it's those physical and natural sciences. So certainly the biologies, the chemistries, the physics will typically be housed within College of Arts and Sciences. But then you're going to also have all of the social sciences and humanities majors. So your English majors, your history majors, the foreign language majors are also going to be within the College of Arts and Sciences. For that reason, the applicant pool tends to be the largest for a College of Arts and Sciences. So if you're applying again to Boston University or one of the University of California schools, applying to the College of Arts and Sciences likely means that you are going to be in the largest pool of applicants. For that reason, and because it does have the highest number of majors traditionally, it also means that there tends to be the most number of spaces for that particular college or for that particular school of study. So overall, and this is not a blanket rule, but I think that at most universities you will find the College of Arts and Sciences typically is not the most competitive school of study at a university. That doesn't mean that it's significantly easier to get into, but it does mean that versus a more specialized area such as a College of Engineering, the acceptance rate may be slightly higher. Now, because a College of Arts and Sciences does encompass so many majors and so many academic areas, the review of applicants to that school tends to be very holistic. So admissions officers will certainly see which major you're applying to, right? So if you're applying to biology, they're not going to be focusing on what English classes you've taken. They're going to be focusing on your biology classes and your science classes. But they are going to assume, and they are going to look to see that you are well-rounded in terms of your academics, right? Because a lot of times universities will assume that students may change their mind once they get there, right? They admit you to the College of Arts and Sciences, and maybe you indicated biology, but perhaps you decide later down the line that you want to switch to be a chemistry major, or you want to switch to be an English major. It certainly happens before. So they're looking for strength kind of across the board for students within a College of Arts and Sciences. They also may look for students that are more well-rounded in terms of their extracurricular activities, or who have a variety of interests, right? So students who have perhaps played a sport and volunteered and been a member of the robotics club or the science Olympiad team, right? They've done different things, they've held different leadership positions, but they have overall a well-rounded profile. Now you compare this to a College of Engineering, and a College of Engineering is going to be very, very specialized, and obviously, again, as the name would suggest, very focused on engineering. So applying into a school of engineering does tend to be more rigorous, right? You're only going up against other students who want to be engineers. So they tend to be some of the top test takers in the country. They're going to have really robust math and science curriculums, and pretty much all of these applicants are going to have a very strong profile as it relates to engineering and their extracurricular activities. Now, sometimes students who are what we call well lopsided do well in a pool for a College of Engineering, because these are the types of students whose extracurricular activities have really only focused on one area, right? So the student who's interested in robotics and has been a member of the robotics team and spends their free time building robots and has taught themselves coding so that they can build the software for their robot, right? Those types of students do very well at times in a College of Engineering because they're so solely focused on that one particular area. Now, the College of Engineering admissions does tend to be more competitive. And a lot of times the reason for that is that at some universities, and this is not all universities, but it is certainly a relatively large number, if a student is not admitted to a College of Engineering as a senior in high school, right? So from day one, freshman year, they can start in the College of Engineering. They may not be able to enter the College of Engineering at any point later down the line. So a student who was interested in electrical engineering but applied to math within the College of Arts and Sciences might not be able to switch into electrical engineering later on. I bring this up because I have heard this from students and families that they've heard from other people, or they themselves have believed, well, I should just apply to the easiest major because once I get into the school, I can just switch. Sometimes that is allowed, sometimes it's not. So if you are a student that wants an engineering major, you should be applying into the College of Engineering. It's easier to start in the College of Engineering and then switch out than it is to start somewhere else on campus and then attempt to switch in to a College of Engineering. But for that reason, because there tends to be a more limited number of spaces, the admissions process is more competitive for that college. So again, as I mentioned before, you may actually see some majors that are offered twice in two different places. The most notable is computer science, and that is one that has become one of the most popular majors that I see students applying to. And there's a lot of universities where computer science can be found in the College of Engineering and in the College of Arts and Sciences. Typically, the difference between them is that the degree you would get in computer science from the College of Engineering would be a Bachelor of Science, and the degree that you would get in computer science from a College of Arts and Sciences would be a Bachelor of Arts. So you have to think about, what are your long-term goals? But you should also think about, what does your profile look like and what are your strengths? If you're interested in computer science, but you've never taken a computer science class before, or if math has not been your strongest point in high school, applying to computer science in a College of Engineering is not going to be the best idea for you. It would probably be much more advisable to apply to a Bachelor of Arts program within a College of Arts and Sciences. So it is something to consider if you do see a major offered twice. What are the implications of choosing one within one college or one school of study versus another school of study? Now, outside of those two main ones, there are also a number of more specialized and certainly smaller colleges or schools of study that are offered at some universities. So you may see a College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. I think Cornell is probably the most notable school with a very, very large College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. So for students who are interested in animal sciences, maybe pre-vet students, students that are interested in environmental science, or even something like meteorology that might be offered at some universities, a lot of times you're going to find that in the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. Again, it just depends on the school. You'll also see a College of Nursing at some universities. So like I talked about with engineering, for certain schools, if you're looking to be in a nursing program, you have to be admitted directly into that program as a senior in high school. You cannot switch into that program later on. Georgetown and University of Pennsylvania are two of those schools. So if you were looking to do nursing at one of those universities, you would need to be applying directly into the College of Nursing. Some other schools of study or other colleges that you may find within a university, some actually have their own dedicated computer science college. Again, it's rapidly becoming one of the most popular fields out there. So some universities have found that they've actually needed to separate it out into its own college or its own school of study with its own resources set aside. You may see health and human development. That's going to be sometimes a lot of the natural science majors. It may also be some social sciences majors that could be housed within there as well. Kinesiology, right? If a school tends to have like physical therapy programs or a really robust medical program, they may have a College of Kinesiology on campus, and there's others as well. The last bullet point here that I want to mention is that there are some liberal arts colleges that offer engineering. So a lot of times people think of liberal arts colleges and they just think of humanities and social sciences, but that's not necessarily the case. Harvey Mudd in particular is a liberal arts college that is actually more well known for their engineering and STEM programs than they are for their English and social science, or sorry, humanities and social science programs. But there are others out there as well. So certainly don't write off a liberal arts college. They offer a lot of benefits. There's going to be smaller classes. There's going to be more attention from your professors. There's going to be less competition for resources as well, right? If you're looking to get involved with research, you're not going to have as many students from a liberal arts college applying for research programs as you are at a larger, potentially like a public flagship university. So for some students, liberal arts colleges are the best fit for them, even though they want to go into a STEM field, or more specifically engineering. And going off of that, liberal arts colleges also offer what we call 3-2 programs for students who are interested in engineering. So what this is where a student will spend 3 years at a liberal arts college or potentially a university if it doesn't offer any sort of engineering curriculum. And they will receive in those 3 years their Bachelor of Arts, usually in a science field. And then they will move to another university and they will spend 2 more years at that university within the College of Engineering and receive a Bachelor of Science. So obviously it is 5 years instead of the traditional 4, but students are getting 2 degrees. They're getting a Bachelor of Arts and a Bachelor of Science. And you can see that the universities that offer these programs are not bad universities, right? These are the top engineering colleges in the country. You've got Caltech, you've got Dartmouth, you've got Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, Washington University of St. Louis, and Columbia that all have partnerships with anywhere from 13 up to over 100 liberal arts colleges in the US to offer these 3-2 programs. Now, I do want to say that a 3-2 program is not necessarily a guarantee. And for actually some of the engineering colleges, there is a second step application process, right? So you go through and you're doing your 3 years at a liberal arts college, and then you need to apply again into the College of Engineering, and not every student is admitted. Obviously, if that happened, you would just stay the 1 more year at your liberal arts college and get your degree in 4 years, just like anybody else within that particular university. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but I do want to make you aware of that, unlike maybe a combined medical program or a combined physical therapy program or doctor of pharmacy program, where they say, as long as you meet these certain requirements, you're guaranteed to move on to the program. That is not necessarily the case with a 3-2 program. And again, it varies from university to university. So if this is something that you are interested in, you would want to start with your home college, your liberal arts college, and look to see what the requirements are for that program, and how you would go about entering the various engineering colleges later on. These are, again, a really great option for students that are looking for that liberal arts college experience. It's also a really good option for students who have maybe just recently, towards the end of high school, discovered that they're interested in engineering, and haven't had the preparation that other students may have had, right? So maybe they didn't get their math up to the level that they needed to, or they haven't taken as many science-based courses. They may be better off starting at a liberal arts college where the engineering and STEM curriculum is going to be paced a little bit slower, and then their final 2 years entering that really intensive engineering curriculum. So sometimes for students who want a little bit of extra time or feel like they might struggle being thrown right into a College of Engineering, a 3-2 program is a really good option. And again, for pre-med, I just want to say it for probably about the 3rd time in this presentation, pre-med is not in and of itself a major. Students seem to always be confused with that, and they'll say, I'm majoring in pre-med. That's not a thing. Sometimes it's a minor, but it's really never a major at a university. So you will need to pick something else. And again, a lot of students will pick majors within STEM, and ultimately want to go on to medical school. So what I want to go through here are really the first 7 or so bullet points here, are the requirements once you get to college, right? So once you've entered your university, what classes do you need to be taking in order to be competitive for medical school? You're going to need to be taking 1 to 2 years of biology, right? So that's anywhere from 2 to 4 semesters of biology. You're going to be taking 1 year of physics, that's 2 semesters, 2 years of chemistry, right? That's 4 semesters of chemistry, and that goes all the way through organic chemistry. 1 to 2 semesters of calculus, so anywhere from half a year to a year, at least 1 semester of English, 1 semester of sociology, and 1 semester of psychology. So you can see here, it's obviously a STEM heavy curriculum, right? The highest number of semesters or the most number of years that you're going to have to take are within the fields of biology, physics, chemistry, calculus. So that's why a lot of students will choose those as their primary majors, is because when they're taking courses to fulfill their major requirements, it's overlapping with these requirements for medical school. a student who chose history as their major is going to have to take all their courses for their history major and then all of these courses as well. So that's why you will see a lot of students choosing biology or choosing chemistry, but they could also choose psychology, sociology, right? Those are majors that do have overlap. And as you can see, English also has an overlap with the medical school requirements. So again, there's no actual set major that you have to take, but students sometimes will think about this as they're choosing their courses and choosing their primary academic area of study, and kind of seeing, how much overlap can I gain with my major and what I have to do to apply to medical school. This is also giving you some hint for academic preparation, and we're going to jump into that next. But obviously, you'll want to have some calculus. You'll probably want to have taken biology, physics, and chemistry. If your high school offers the opportunity to take psychology or the opportunity to take sociology, you should take that. It's going to give you a leg up on these courses that you're going to have to take once you get to college. Bottom 3 bullet points here are some of the extracurricular activities as an undergraduate that you would want to pursue to get to medical school. So that would be research, physician shadowing, and volunteering. Obviously, volunteering would be ideal if it could be in a medical capacity, perhaps at a hospital or at a clinic, but it could also be with higher risk populations in the medical field. So things like the elderly, the homeless, or people with disabilities, working with them through a volunteer capacity can also give a student really good experience. Now, this again just shows you some ways in high school that you can potentially enhance your application. So if you are able to gain some research experience, perhaps do a research program at a local university, if you are able to do any physician shadowing or do some volunteering, that will certainly enhance your application and make you stand out as a pre-med candidate for these universities. So the academic considerations for STEM admissions, number one thing, and I think if you ask any admissions officer, what is the first thing and the most important thing that you look at on a student's application, and it's their transcript, right? So for a student applying to STEM, they're looking at the rigor of your courses and they're looking at your grades, and more specifically, they're looking at them within the context of your math and science curriculum, right? So they're going to be seeing, did you take math to the highest level that you could take it? Did you take the amount of sciences, as many as you could, right, within your 4 years of high school? And did you do well in those courses? Because certainly a student that says that they want to be a mechanical engineer and doesn't do well in their math classes, it's not a very good fit for that particular program. Now, what does that higher level look like, and what is the expectation for these universities? For math, it's calculus, right? I talked earlier on when we were going through STEM, what is it? Math is the basis for almost all of the other STEM majors, and getting to calculus is vitally important for applying into a STEM program. If for some reason your high school does not offer calculus, go outside of your high school, take it online, take it at a community college, see if a local university offers a summer course for you to be able to take it. Make sure that by the time you graduate high school, you have taken calculus. It doesn't need to be the highest level, right? If you don't want to take AP Calculus BC, you don't have to, but just take regular calculus, whatever it may be. Make sure that you're learning about the subject by the time that you're graduating high school. If you are looking specifically to go into engineering, you should also be sure that you're taking physics and potentially multiple years of physics, as well as computer science if it is offered. Computer science, because it is not one of those core academic subject areas, it may not be offered as readily at as many high schools. So that's one that is optional in a sense for students looking to go into engineering. But I would say, again, similar to calculus, if you don't have the opportunity at your high school to take a computer science course, look outside of your high school, see if you can take an online class, see if you can take a class at a community college. You should be able to find some sort of opportunity to gain a bit of computer science knowledge. For standardized testing, you may want to consider taking some SAT subject tests to further show your strength in math and science. So just a real quick overview for anybody who may be unfamiliar. In terms of standardized testing, right, you, I'm sure, know about the SAT and the ACT, and those are generally the two main standardized tests if the university is going to require it, would be required. It's one or the other. Students absolutely do not need to take both. There is no preference that is given by any university for the ACT or the SAT, one over the other. They are treated exactly equal in the admissions process. Then there are SAT subject tests, and any student can take an SAT subject test. You don't have to have taken the SAT to do an SAT subject test. And they're offered in a variety of academic areas. So while there are offerings within the STEM fields, there are also SAT subject tests offered in English and history and foreign languages. Students generally don't need to be taking more than about 2 to 3 SAT subject tests if they are going to take them. I would say for the most part, SAT subject tests at this point are typically optional as part of the admissions process. There are very few universities that still require SAT subject tests. It used to be that many would, but nowadays very few universities actually require them. There are a few more that'll say that they're recommended or strongly recommended, and you may have heard people in admissions joke that recommended means required in the admissions process, right? It's strongly suggested, if we use the word recommended, that you treat that as a requirement. So you will see some schools here or there that are asking students for them, but again, for the most part, they are optional at this point. So what we recommend for students who are interested in STEM is that you take a math exam. Again, math, foundation of everything within the STEM field. And math is offered at 2 levels. There's level 1 and level 2. I would say for the vast majority of students looking to enter a STEM field, you should be taking math level 2. Math level 2 actually only goes up through pre-calculus. It doesn't start with calculus yet. So assuming that you're getting to that level, because I told you earlier in the slide that you needed to, you should be more than prepared to take the math level 2 exam. If for whatever reason math is just your weakness, you can take math level 1 if you want to, but I really think that math level 1 is more suited for students who are not looking to enter a field related to mathematics and just need an SAT subject test for whatever reason. Then they're also offered in the sciences, so they're offered in physics, biology, and chemistry. Certainly, depending on the field that you're interested in going into, would dictate which SAT subject test would be the best fit. Again, if you're looking to do engineering, physics would probably be the best. Unless you're looking to do bioengineering, take bio. Chemical engineering, you may want to take chemistry. But certainly if you're looking to just enter biology or you're looking to do chemistry, you would want to take that particular subject. And then thinking about your letters of recommendation that you're getting from your teachers, right? So most universities require 2 letters of recommendation from teachers. And we highly suggest that you get those letters of recommendation from a teacher that has taught you in math or science subjects. Now, there are a few universities out there that say that they want complementary letters of recommendation. So they want one letter of recommendation to come from a STEM teacher. They want the other letter of recommendation to come from a humanities or social sciences teacher. It's very few universities that ask for that, but certainly be sure to check the admissions requirements and make sure you are following the instructions. For any other university, I don't think it's a bad idea to get both letters of recommendation from a teacher in a STEM field. And again, this needs to be somebody that has taught you in your junior or senior year, or at least has known you in your junior or senior year. So if you had a teacher that taught you in 9th grade, but is the advisor for the robotics team and has, been your advisor for all 4 years, that could be acceptable for a letter of recommendation as well. But again, picking the subjects that are most relevant to what you want to study. So if you want to be chemistry major, getting your chemistry teacher to write the letter of recommendation, or if you want to be an engineering major, getting a math teacher and maybe a physics teacher to write the letters of recommendation. They're going to know you the best in the context of the area that you want to study. So that's going to be the most relevant to universities, and it's going to help them get to know you within the context of that college or within the context of that school of study that you have chosen as well. So thinking about your profile outside of academics, right? What can you do to enhance your extracurriculars towards a STEM degree? There's a lot of ways that you can gain experience within STEM. First would be some summer exploration camps. They're offered for engineering. They're also offered for the other sciences as well. They're offered for medicine. So if you were thinking you wanted to do pre-med as a complement to your primary major, you could look to do a summer exploration camp in medicine as well. Summer exploration camps are offered on a variety of different college campuses. There's a number of organizations that offer summer exploration camps. I know Envision is one of the programs that has a number of exploration camps held on a number of different college campuses throughout the country over the summer. So really just depends on where you're looking to go, what you're looking to do, what the options are going to be, but there's plenty of summer exploration camps that are available, and they can range anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks all the way up to 8 to 10 weeks over the summer. So again, if you're looking to just get a brief overview, you could do a shorter program. If you're looking to get a really intensive experience, you could do one of those longer programs. As I mentioned earlier, looking to go outside of your high school if you need to enhance your curriculum by taking a course at a community college, on campus at a local university, or online. Coursera and edX are two really great resources for finding online courses that are offered from a variety of different universities, really throughout the world. But certainly don't let go of this option if you are looking to just learn more about a subject, right? Not because you have to for high school, but just because you're interested in it. If you're, again, really interested in Python, take a Python course. That's fine, right? You can certainly use these just to further explore an area of interest. Doing research at a local university, right? Don't hesitate to just reach out to professors, send them an email and ask them if they have availability in their lab. I think you'll be surprised at the reception that you'll get from some of these professors. It just takes asking to be able to learn about some of these opportunities. Also looking to do an internship in engineering or science, right? There's some large organizations and corporations that offer summer internship programs for high school students. Certainly if you have mom or dad that's in the STEM field and their corporation has an internship program, you could consider that as an option as well. Within school, getting involved in clubs, organizations, teams, and competitions that might relate to your area of interest. So things like robotics club or science clubs, math competitions like the AMC or AIME, science competitions like Bio Olympiad, Chem Olympiad, right? Getting involved in these organizations, really good way to add relevant experience to your resume. If you are interested in computer science or engineering, definitely consider doing some computer coding classes or even just teaching yourself to code, right? Sure, you could get a Coding for Dummies book or take an online course in coding to be able to teach yourself, or building hardware, restoring laptops, building gadgets, right? At Rice, when we would read an application and we would see that on there, we would put a note that said tinkerer, right? This is a student who likes to get in there, that likes to get involved, that likes to pull things apart and put them back together. And that's the type of student that professors really love within their classroom. So certainly, don't think that just being at home and doing that on your own is not an extracurricular activity, because it is. It's worth noting on the application. As is independent study, right? Reading a journal article, reading books in your academic area of interest, just showing passion for a particular field, it's really going to stand out to the admissions officers. So that is the end of our presentation today. Just to give some final words of advice, be sure to demonstrate interest in STEM through reading, through independent study, through these exploration camps, and also through identifying your own strengths, right? Again, think about what's going to happen when an admissions officer gets your application and sees the area of STEM that you have applied to, right? They're going to be looking at your transcript. They're going to be looking at the courses that you've taken. They're going to be looking at your extracurricular activities, and they're going to look to see strength in that particular area. So think about that as you're determining your interest. What is going to be the best fit, or what is my profile going to show is the best fit for me at this time? Be sure to challenge yourself in STEM subjects in high school. Again, number one place the admissions officers are looking is that transcript, right? So they want to see that you've taken those math and science classes at the highest levels. I will say that I've seen a number of students that have also been able to double up in the STEM fields, right? So they've been able to take 2 math courses per year or 2 science courses in a given year. I realize that's not logistically possible at every high school, but certainly if it is an option for you, consider it, right? See if there's ways that you can shuffle your schedule around to be able to really challenge yourself in the STEM subjects. Also consider those STEM opportunities outside of high school. So again, taking a community college course, taking an online class, going to a local college or university over the summer or during the school year and taking some courses within the STEM field. Again, either because you need to enhance your own high school curriculum or just because you have an area of interest and want to pursue that passion further. Be sure to consider adding some extracurriculars that are related to STEM, right? Again, it can just be something that you do over the summer, or it can be something that you're doing during the school year as well, right? A relevant club or organization within your high school or independent study or work that you are doing. Be sure to study hard and do well in science and math standardized tests. That includes those SAT subject tests that you may want to add to your application as well. And then finally, don't write off the liberal arts colleges, right? Do some research in those and other universities to determine the best fit or match for you. Everybody's learning style is different. Everybody has different interests. And so one college or university is not going to be the perfect fit for every single student. So make sure that you're doing your research and that you're considering all of your options as you put together your college list. So just to review one more time what we went through in the presentation today, we went over what is STEM, reviewed the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and all of the different academic subjects that fall within each of those categories. We talked about applying to STEM programs, right? More specifically, what does it mean applying to a College of Arts and Sciences versus applying to a College of Engineering, and then also some of the more specialized colleges or schools of study that you may see at a particular university. We touched on pre-med, what majors make sense to complement a pre-med track, what are the requirements for the courses that you'll need to be taking in order to apply to medical school, as well as what are some of the extracurricular opportunities that you should be considering as a high school student as well as an undergraduate student to prepare you to enter the medical field. Then we went through academic and extracurricular considerations, right? So ways to enhance your profile in terms of your academic profile as well as your extracurricular profile, and what you should be doing, the courses that you should be taking in high school and what you could be doing over the summer or during the school year to add to your resume. And then we just went through the final words of advice. I did mention at the beginning of the presentation, I wanted to show you the AcceptU difference in terms of the students who work with us and their acceptance rate to various universities. So again, you can see these are some of the top universities in the country. More specifically, we do have some of the top STEM universities, right? MIT, Georgia Tech, really, really strong engineering and STEM programs at those schools. So the first column of numbers you're going to see is the university's general acceptance rate. So this is not for early decision, this is for regular decision, right? Their overall acceptance rate to the university. And then the column next to that is going to be the acceptance rate of students who work with AcceptU. So we generally find that it's anywhere between a 2 to 6 times higher acceptance rate for students who work with us versus students who apply just generally to the university. And again, that's just because of the experience that we can share having sat on the other side of the desk, being able to make sure that students aren't making the mistakes that a lot of students may make in the process, and helping them to really strategize their application so that it is going to be the best fit for the program that they are applying to. So if you are interested in learning more, please do reach out if you have any questions from today's presentation. You can email us at info@acceptu.com. We do offer complimentary 30-minute consultations with one of our former admissions officers, and you can request that right on our website. Please do also connect with us on social media. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. We post lots of videos throughout the year and content relating to various universities, hot topics in higher education. So if you keep up with us, we will make sure that you're staying on track through the admissions process and keeping up with any current news as well. So thank you very much for taking the time and listening to the presentation today.